Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of What the Health Just Happened, where we talk about all things healthcare, community, business, and life. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between. Trey, my co-host here and producer, we are so fortunate to have on a variety of guests way smarter than we are, including today, second-time guest.
Absolutely.
We'll do the intro here. Randi Beesing, I would intro you as a friend at this point.
I hope so.
I just enjoy your company. We have, again, bizarre sense of humor, but multi-unit owner for Any Lab Test Now. We're going to talk a lot about that. And the owner for ARCpoint Labs, Jacksonville, Florida, because apparently there's another Jacksonville ARCpoint Labs. Welcome for round two, Randi Beesing. You ready?
I'm ready.
Where do we start? Should we start serious or not serious?
Let's start not serious.
I love not serious. So Randi, who makes me laugh, just met your husband for the first time.
You did.
He dropped off some swag. We have some swag in this back office. Trey did a good job making it look nice. You had a big year. 2025 was a big year. Took on a second company.
It was a busy year.
Small Business Leader of the Year for the Health Council Jack's Chamber.
Shout out.
Jack's Bridges was part of that program.
Yes.
Was that the same year?
I was part of 2025.
And then also Jim Moran Institution.
Yep.
All
Jim
in the
Moran
same year.
Institute Entrepreneurial Global Entrepreneurship Program.
25 was a lot.
It was a lot.
Some babies, maybe grandbabies.
I even got a new grandbaby in 2025.
Okay.
So Piper was born in June.
Piper
Blake.
I saw some pictures of Piper, by the way.
Piper Blake Jones, my little PBJ.
Love it. Do you have a favorite of all your children and grandchildren?
They're all my favorite
equally
for different
tied.
reasons.
Equally tied.
Yeah. Equally tied.
I said I'm gonna try not to make you cry somehow when we talk about your kids.
Today.
We won't.
It's fine.
What is more fun, being a mother or a grandmother?
Oh, grandmother, hands
Easy?
down.
Yeah.
Easy answer.
Spoil them, hand them off.
All day long.
That's a long ways away. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey, I got a random one for you. Eric was listing off some of your accomplishments. Did you have any of those goals marked down? Were they in your head, even before 2025?
So my goal for 2025 was to work on the business, not in the business. So as a small business owner, it's always hard to get out of the four walls. I call it getting sucked into the vortex because that happens a lot. So 2025, I just had a goal. We had really had some pretty hyper growth going on prior to that. And I just needed to get back to basics and really start working on just business strategy and planning and marketing and things like that. And so those three programs, for different reasons, really kind of helped me reach my goal.
Healthy or not healthy on the mental?
Ooh, probably not very healthy.
You got to say that for the healthy or not healthy.
Well, I just had to add, just because you're talking about it.
Randy's played the game. We'll do it again too, but that's great question, right? Because we say all things healthcare, community, business, and life.
Yes.
I think you can talk about all four because we'll get to obviously Any Lab Test Now and ARCpoint, which is tied to healthcare. But a lot of people underestimate the business side.
I think so.
And you said something, working on the business versus in the business. That was a big adjustment last year, or is that something that you've been working on for a while?
So, I think as we've experienced growth over the last couple of years, you kind of just jump in and wherever you're needed, if somebody's out or you've got two people on vacation or whatever, as a small business owner, you jump in and fill in the gaps, right? So in our business, for me, it's really easy to get into the store. If I just come in for 5 minutes, I'm here for 5 hours because I love the business. We have an amazing team that I love working with and being around. But the customers too, I've always been in sales and marketing and business development. So customers are my people. And so I just enjoy being around the customers and hearing the feedback. So for me, getting into the store, I like being here. The staff is probably like,
what is she doing here again?
When is she going to leave? But no, we do have a pretty amazing team. So I don't have to be here. And the 2025 was a great year because our newest employee just today told me she's been here 1 year today. So everyone else has been here 3 to 4, almost 5 years. So we have a pretty long tenured staff.
Minimal turnover.
And that helps me not have to be in the stores every day. So.
You sleep better at night too.
You do.
And again, it's hard to tell the video clips. We're on site. We want to start doing that where we go to a location, and I just want to acknowledge very clean, very welcoming. The staff that I was here before you were I'm like, oh, I like this place, which matters in this industry.
They should feel welcome.
They should. So multiple locations will start. Any Lab Test Now and ARCpoint.
Yes.
Kind of separate businesses, but
Yep.
Now they're collaborating. You use, what's the metaphor you told me when we talked before? I love that.
Kind of like a Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Taco Bell. They're under the same brand umbrella, but offer different things.
So, right, Taco Bell obviously is Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I love Taco Bell, and KFC's different. Sometimes they share a location, but they're two separate products and services, but under the same umbrella. Similar to any lab test now in ARCpoint. 3 locations in Jacksonville.
Yes.
So we're in the Beaches one, which is off Atlantic.
We are.
Then there's one in Murray Hill.
There's one down in Murray Hill, and then one in Mandarin on San Jose Boulevard.
And let's dive into the business. Who needs to know about any lab test now? Who needs to walk in these doors and use this service?
So, 2026 is going to look a lot different for people with health insurance or lack of health insurance with the cost going up, tax credits going away. A lot of people are choosing to not have health insurance, and that is our target customer, the person with no health insurance. We offer affordable, accessible labs. Even if they can't afford to go to the doctor, maybe they come in and get some lab work. And if everything is normal, then maybe that gives them a little peace of mind. If something's abnormal, then it kind of motivates them to get to the doctor and get things checked out on a bigger scale. But for us, people that are uninsured is our number one customer. Then also we cater to people who like to take control of their own health. And so maybe they have health insurance, maybe they have an HSA. We don't take any health insurance. Everything here is cash pay, but we do accept HSA cards for payments, and we do qualify for those, so they can come in and use HSA. We do things like food sensitivity testing, food allergy, micronutrient testing, GI biome, things like that your doctor's not going to order because insurance doesn't cover it, right? So they're pretty restricted to what they can order for you based on diagnosis codes and insurance reimbursement. Here, you just come get what you want.
I have so many thoughts and questions. Were you going to say something, Trey?
I was going to say, well, it's January. Is there a hot test that's this time of year people are kind of getting involved with?
So a lot of people, all have their
New
Year's
resolutions.
resolutions.
Oh, that's right.
And so they want to take better help, better care for themselves. And so we do see a lot more food allergy sensitivity testing, micronutrient. GI biome is a new one, and it's so hot, and I'm going to do it on myself, but it really looks at gut health. And so that's just such a big trend.
Which it's not just a trend, it tells you a lot.
It tells
affects
you a lot, but there's just a lot of buzz around that, and that will end up being like a $23 billion industry very soon. So just those types of tests we see in the beginning of the year. And then, we see a lot of just annual checkup panels and male and female comprehensive panels and things like that.
I got a funny one for you, but when you get your results, we went and just did DexaFit recently, correct?
Yep.
Sometimes you got emojis for your actual results. Do you guys give numbers, or is it emojis plus numbers? I know that's random.
That's so cool.
Save that. Let me
Okay,
say
fair
something
enough.
and transition to that, because that's the direction I'm going, right? What does the process look like when you get results? How do you review them? You'd mentioned health insurance and healthcare. Like it is changing quickly.
It's very quickly
and will
this year.
probably change even more for a variety of reasons. The cost of traditional insurance through a company, whatever it is, you're on the open market, it's a bloodbath.
Yes.
So a lot of people are moving towards that proactive care, cash pay. Maybe you get a direct primary care. I love the health and wellness space.
Right.
Talking to Trace, like I don't want to go to my doctor, a primary care physician that's 6 months out, him order labs for me to do a basic metabolic panel, a CBC. I can walk in these doors, use my HSA or cash, get the blood work on the spot, and then review my results.
Yep.
That's what I look at. I think this industry, if it hasn't exploded yet, will continue to, because people are just tired of that same style.
Yes.
If you look at the cost of services, so you'd mentioned the full test for a male is approximately $250, $300.
Right, $259.
Oh, that's
for a
nothing.
full panel. That's hormones.
Yeah, that's cheap.
All the things.
Thyroid,
if you
lipid,
do it
everything.
through traditional insurance, you got to go to your primary care physician, get the order through Quest or LabCorp. I'm not throwing shade at them. They're going to bill your insurance $2,000, and you're still going to end up paying $150 to $200 out of pocket. Okay, here's my money out of pocket. Just avoid that.
Right.
The process itself. So Trey and I, 2026, we're doing the DEXA scans, we're working out, we're watching our diet. Trey, let's go get some blood work. Let's go pay cash for blood work at any lab test now. What's the process? We walk in these doors. Walk us through it.
Yep. So you can do two things. You can go on our website, anylabtestnow.com/Jacksonville, pick a location. You can order the test you want, pay for the test you want, schedule an appointment online. Your consent forms and everything are done online. If you do that, your visit here is literally less than 5 minutes. You will walk in the door. The team up front will print out your paperwork. You can pay online, so you don't even have to pay when you come in, and they'll take you straight back to the draw room, draw your blood, and you're out the door. So you will be here less than 5 minutes in that case. If you don't go online or you have questions about what you want to order, you can still go online, fill out the paperwork for your consent to make an appointment, and then you can just choose general health. And so then you can come in and talk to our team up front about what type of test you want to do, if you're having some symptoms or things like that. We also on our website have a really cool new AI tool called Ask Alice. And so you can go in and ask Alice if you're having certain symptoms. It'll recommend different tests for you based on symptoms or things that are going on with you. So we've even incorporated a little AI into our portfolio,
everything,
right?
Everything. So I fill out the paperwork online and I come in here and I was like, man, what is this CBC thing? I know the answer to that, but you'd explain like, this is what it tells you. This is why it matters.
Right.
That's if you don't fill it out, you don't register ahead of time.
Correct. So they'll team up front will, they're very knowledgeable and well trained to help walk you through the different tests that you're ordering. They can work with a budget. If you only want to spend $100 or you want to spend $500, whatever, they can work with your budget and tell you like, this is the most bang for your buck. So we want to make sure you're getting as much information as you can to make healthcare choices. And so they can
turnaround time on results. So Trey and I get our blood work. We're going to hear in 24 to 72 hours, depending on a few things. Like it's really cold. It sounds like some blood work that was sent off is
Might
delayed.
Be some blood work
right?
stuck in the
or they may
FedEx
have to
hub in
redraw.
Memphis.
Those things happen.
Okay.
So average turnaround time, 24 to 72 hours. Are the results sent to Eric personally and Trey personally, or do we come back and you review them? If we have questions on our results, can you all answer that and point us in the right direction? Am I taking this to my direct primary? What am I doing with the results?
Okay, so you get the results. We do have a secured portal, so you will always have access to anything that you test here through that secured portal. And then we can also mail them to you depending on how you want them done. We typically avoid emailing them just for HIPAA violation purposes. We do try to stick to the electronic portal. You get the results. If you have questions about it, you can call our team. Our team are medical assistants, not nurses, and so we do steer away from them trying to interpret results.
Or giving advice.
Advice. We can say you might want to talk to your doctor about this. The results that we offer are color coded, and so if they show up in red, it says abnormal. Then it's easy to see like, oh, this is abnormal.
That was my
I need
question.
to call my doctor. So they don't all just come in black and white, and you have to guess. Like there's ranges, and if it's abnormal, it's in the abnormal range. So it does give you a good indicator that you need to call your doctor.
Nailed it. You get results, and I see, wow, that's the normal range. I am really high on that.
Right.
That's not good or really low.
Exactly.
So similar for women, that's a men's version, and we run different tests other than your basic metabolic panel, CBC, A1C. For women, there's other tests that you offer that are relevant.
So on the comprehensive male panel, we include a PSA and testosterone and DHEA, I think. And then on the female, we include, and there's also, thyroid, cholesterol, all those tests as well. On the female panel, we include progesterone, estradiol, FSH, LH. So there's some more hormones on the female side. So their panel is a little more extensive. So 329 for the female panel, 259 for the male panel.
I would argue, correct me if I'm wrong, most women and men at a certain age, like, I want to know these things. I want to know where I'm at. And instead of waiting till, I don't want to say it's too late. Like, why not start it now?
Yep. No, absolutely. And then it kind of gives you that idea. And then on our test results on the female side of things, it gives you ranges at the bottom. And then, women's hormones look a lot different if they're in menopause. So there's postmenopausal or they're, different ranges. So if they're younger, medium, younger, medium, older.
Younger, medium.
It gives them those broken out ranges as well. So if your testosterone or progesterone level is like really high or really low, it takes into consideration your age into those results. So it does give you a range based on your age as well.
I love these conversations, and I promise we'll laugh and have some fun, right?
This isn't fun.
I enjoy this. I'm always thinking, like, who's listening to this?
I'm having a blast.
Like, I don't know if I want to see these results. These are, you look at products and services. We haven't even got to ARCpoint yet, and we will. That's any lab test. Now, that's one thing. STD testing. This always makes people cringe and feel awkward, but like, you guys do STD testing. Who should be doing that?
Everyone.
I mean, I've been married for 13 years.
I was going to say, should married people?
So, well, let's hope you don't need to do
Depends
it.
what a spouse is doing.
Good point. Good
We
point.
have had married people come in and do
But
it.
is it parents of teens saying, go get STD tested? Is it college students like, oh,
I think
man, I
it's
had
a
a
little
rough
bit
weekend?
of everything. So I think, we get, and we say STD testing, but a lot of those tests are incorporated when couples are going through fertility treatment. Those are a lot of the basic tests they have to have. Or when you get ready to have a baby, even, when my
pass it
daughters
on to
had
the
to have
baby.
babies,
Yeah.
they had to have those tests as well, just as knowing what the doctor's going into during childbirth. So, yes, STD testing, but not always because you hung out at the beach bars. Always some, reasons to if you're having fertility treatment and things like that. So, but yeah, so it is open. People do like to come in and do STD testing here for multiple reasons. First of all, it's confidential. It's quick. We do offer some STD testing rapid here in the office, so they get the results right away. HIV, gonorrhea, chlamydia can be done here in the office for females. HIV for both, gonorrhea, chlamydia, trichomoniasis for females. And so you just kind of want that like urgent, like,
Yeah, I want to know right now.
Right, I want to know right now. And then, but also it doesn't hit your insurance, and so it gives you time to think about it and get treatment. And obviously, if they're positive for HIV and things like that, we have a protocol that we follow, giving them the recommendations and connecting them with healthcare providers that can
DNA testing.
DNA testing.
Paternity testing, is that part of the DNA testing?
Yep. So we do paternity testing. We can test alleged fathers. We've done maternity testing for moms. So if they did in vitro fertilization, we had a lady come in and test herself with the baby to see if it was her egg or the implanted egg that was actually the mother. So kind of some, funny, weird things. And then you can also test by grandparents, siblingships. We've had, especially when 23andMe and things like that came out.
That's a crazy
And then they
story.
were like, oh, I think I have a brother in Alabama or whatever. So they, you can do paternity testing. And so it's half siblingship or full siblingship to see if you have, a shared parent or two.
What am I missing? We said drug screening, which I think we'll go back to ARCpoint too on the business side. You said something, I like this. Any lab test now is direct to consumer.
Yes.
Which I will argue this, especially 5 years from now, most people will be going directly to services like this to take care of these things. ARCpoint, I keep saying we'll get to, that's business to business. There's a business side to it. But from any lab test now, am I missing anything in that? I mean, that's a wide variety. Just these screenings, anything else?
So we offer over 8,000 clinical tests. We do DNA paternity testing. We talked about that. We also do pharmacogenetic testing. So that does kind of fall under the DNA testing. So there are tests out there that will tell you how you respond to certain medications. And so
That's a big one, by the way.
it's a big one. And so I did this on my daughter, for various reasons a couple of years ago. And then we found out that, she's a morphine person, not a codeine person. If she ends up in the emergency room, certain things are not going to work as well on her.
A statin you may be taking, like your body does not
Your
react
body's
to
not
this
going
statin.
to
I didn't realize you
respond
did
to
that.
them. Advil, Tylenol, like, are you
What's more
ibuprofen or
effective?
Tylenol? Which one works for you, right? So
Yeah.
it depends on how your body metabolizes and absorbs them. So we can do those type tests as well. And then the other thing that is on podcast, if you ever listen to Joe Rogan, and he talks about Joe Rogan. Do you know him?
I've never heard of
maybe
him.
a guy.
No,
But he does talk about
Food sensitivity?
well, he talks about the one that's like metabolic, basically making yourself younger metabolically.
Biohacking.
So there are
Just throwing
tests.
out words.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we do
hey.
methyl dilation is what the test is. So he talks about methyl dilation testing. We offer that as well. We'll have people that come in and are like, hey, I listened to Joe Rogan. He talked about this methyl dilation. And
fascinating.
so we do that. So that's it's 5 different genetic tests in that group, but it's the same test he talks about on his podcast.
What does it tell you?
It basically just tells you how your body's aging and medication and different things like that as well. So how you metabolize, how your blood coagulates. It's like different things like that.
Cool.
You said, golly, time's gone by so fast already. 8,000 different tests.
Over 8,000 different clinical tests.
And looking at, we had talked about function health before. Like they say, you get all this blood work, 250 tests, but you're not getting 250 tests. Remember when we talked about this? You were looking at.
So that one it's a little play on words, I think. So for us, if we sell you a comprehensive metabolic panel, our CMP 14, they call it different things. There's 14 tests inside that CMP. We sell that as one test because it's one test with 14 components or biomarkers. On Functional Health or different websites like that, they promote that as 14 tests because it's looking at 14 different biomarkers, or they may sell it as biomarkers, not test. So it's just a play on words, really. CBC, the same thing. Like there's all these different components of a CBC where we sell you a CBC, one test. They sell you the 11 components of a CBC.
It's not knocking these other programs. I think anything that someone is doing to check their health, make smarter decisions is good. But how you use words sometimes can matter too.
It just makes it, if I'm selling you the same thing that they're selling you, I may sell you 25 tests for $395, and they may sell you 165 biomarkers for $395.
Yeah,
like they're selling the same thing we're selling for the same price. They just break it down into biomarkers.
Of those 8,000 tests, how many do you think you've done?
Personally on myself or customers?
No, on yourself, like 3,500.
Did you do them all?
No,
that's what I was like.
I have done. No, I've done like food sensitivity testing. I've done micronutrient testing. Food sensitivity is good because people will eat healthy food, thinking they're doing all the right things, and then they have like a lot of inflammation or bloating or stomach issues. And then turns out they're sensitive to a food, not necessarily allergic to it. So those type things, you can remove them from your body and then over time reintroduce them and not have the sensitivity to it.
I think next half we'll hit ARCpoint more. We got 2 minutes left. We love shout outs. Who should we shout out? Jack's Chamber's been good to both of us. JMI, we said.
Good to us. JMI,
Jack's Bridges. What else?
Bridges. The team at Jack's Bridges.
Your husband
amazing.
For bringing the sign?
My husband for always being the guy that I call him like, hey, can you drop this off? Like, definitely him. Couldn't do this without him for sure.
Who else?
The kids.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. The kids, the grandkids. You got to shout out the grandkids, yep. Cooper and Piper.
Love you, Mom.
And Mom's.
Always moms.
Sure. Always the moms.
Again, golly, that went by really fast. That was, again, selfishly, I didn't know all of that stuff. And we had talked about, I don't know if we'll get to it today, but what does it look like for us to come back? We want to go through the process, get some footage of it, read results.
I mean, if you have time to do it, it takes
we'll see what that looks
5
like.
minutes?
Yeah. Less than.
Well, you got to fill out the paperwork.
No, you don't fill out the paperwork.
Randy Beesing, dear friend of mine, second rounds. That's what the hell just happened. Welcome back to the second half of What the Health Just Happened. If you're here on the radio station 104.5 WOKV, good news is you can catch the first half on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube under What the Health Just Happened. We have my buddy, Randi Beesing, multi-franchise owner for Any Lab Tests Now and ARCpoint, Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
First half, we talked a lot about Any Lab Tests Now. We learned a lot of good stuff. We might get to some blood work today. If not, we'll figure out how to come back and do that. But great dialogue there. Second half, I think we'll dive into ARCpoint because that was a big adjustment last year. But first, we have to do healthy or not healthy.
Okay, let's do it.
And I haven't thought of any. Healthy or not healthy starting a second franchise when you're balancing 3 franchises?
Whew, I'm going to say it started out unhealthy and ended healthy.
Okay, healthy or not healthy going through 3 business development leadership programs in the same year?
Healthy.
All 3 were healthy?
I think they were healthy.
Okay, healthy or not healthy being a new grandmother?
Super healthy.
Healthy or not healthy, 2 weddings within 1 month?
Terrifyingly unhealthy.
Terrifyingly unhealthy.
No,
do you
it'll
stress
be healthy.
about those?
No, I don't. And the good news is the first wedding is my daughter, so that's the one you put all the energy and effort into. And the other one is in Jamaica, so it's going to be like a little vacation.
Oh, nice.
Are you going to try to fake an accent while you're there? I feel like everybody does that.
No. I think they'll know I'm not Jamaican.
What?
I think they'll probably know.
I think so too. Healthy or not healthy? We said starting a new franchise. Started unhealthy, now is healthy. Why is it now healthy?
It's healthy for the business. So I think going into it, buying a second franchise, they operate service-wise, similarly, operationally, they are very different. Platforms were different. We haven't overwhelmed our team just yet. We did buy an existing ARCpoint in March of last year, 2025, and we did inherit the employee that came with it, and he's amazing. He's worked for multiple ARCpoint owners over the years. His name is Chris.
Shout out Chris.
Chris, he is awesome, and he is also our on-call 24/7 guy for anything after hours on-site drug testing. But he came with the business, unfortunately agreed to stay on with us, and that's been super healthy. But he is going to help us expand that role a good bit.
If you look at
Trey has
I have a question. Just because you said 24-hour service, so like, can you give me an example of where someone would call upon that?
Yeah. So
save that.
Oh, sorry.
We're gonna get
okay. The second you said it, I'm like, oh, give me
I
a
never want
story.
to cut you off, but it's telling the picture. So, starting with the things that ARCpoint does, and then leading into why would it be after hours. So you talk about direct to consumer with any lab test now. Yep. ARCpoint is designed for businesses,
right? So business to business, employer solutions,
drug screening. Blood alcohol testing for we had talked about drivers, pilots, train conductors, all those things. What all does ARCpoint do?
Okay.
That's separate from any lab test now, and it's directly to businesses. And then, of course, the after-hour stuff.
Yeah. So
I didn't mean to cut you off. You know what I mean?
Right. I just went right there.
I love it.
I'm like, oh.
So I will say 2 years ago, Any Lab Test Now and ARCpoint were considered competitors. In September of 2024, they went into a joint venture together. So now we sit under that umbrella, kind of like Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell.
I love that. I must use that example in the future.
And so they, we did the same thing product service wise. We did clinical testing. We did drug and alcohol testing on both brands. However, Any Lab Test Now really excelled on the clinical side of things, and ARCpoint has a amazing technology platform that handles the employer solutions side of things. So kind of funny story, my husband and I always from day one said we need a better employer solutions platform, and it was the one thing we always ask from the Any Lab Test Now franchise. And so one day we were getting ready to go to a franchise advisory council meeting with the corporate team, and I sent our CEO a message because they always send the thing out like, hey, do you have anything you want to add to the agenda? And I sent her an email and said, hey, Lloyd and I really still want employer solutions piece. I think that'd really help our business, and didn't really get a response. She's like, okay, we'll see you at FAC. And at that FAC meeting, they announced the joint venture. And she said, I was literally sitting in my office with our investor and said, look at this email I just got, but they were getting ready to announce it. So
this solved a solution that you needed with Any Lab Test Now.
Yes, it definitely provided a solution to what we felt like we were missing on the Any Lab Test Now side. So on the ARCpoint side, ARCpoint Labs is really good at employer solutions. We talked about that. They do drug screen background checks.
I got EAP, background checks, employment drug screens.
Yep, they offer an EAP program as well for employers. But what they really do well that we were excited about is, and that led to Trey's questions, is for large companies, even government agencies, JTA, Jacksport, JEA.
Local to Jacksonville, some
local
examples.
To
JEA, Jacksport, big organizations, Baptist Health, right?
Baptist Health, and then you get into the Miller Electrics, WWA, All in White, large contractors that are drug testing their employees. They have DOT employees that are Department of Transportation. So those are your bus drivers, your semi-truck drivers, in some cases, Coast Guard, FAA, Federal Railway,
Fire Rescue, Police Department.
So they all have to have these DOT license, commercial driver's licenses. They have to be random tested, and you have to stay compliant. That's a very regulated industry. And so ARCpoint Labs offers the ability to manage that. And if you have like a small trucking company that's like an owner operator, he may have one or two drivers. You don't want to put him in his own pool for random testing, because you have to test 50% of your people quarterly. Those people are getting tested every quarter, right? So
you drug test the same guy every quarter. Yeah.
So the guy's like, I quit. Yeah. So we put them in a consortium. So you get a lot of those. So we actually manage a consortium to keep them compliant. So we can do driver management and things like that as well. So it's just a full service employer solution, Department of Transportation type thing. But with those agencies, they work around the clock. So 24/7. they work. Accidents don't typically like to happen 8 to 5. They like to happen 5 to 8.
True.
And then you have to have somebody willing to go on site to do their drug testing. If a semi-truck gets into an accident, they have to be tested within 8 hours. And so you have to have someone responsive to that. That's what our guy Chris is for.
Again, you're filling a market need that exists. I'll give you a very specific example. When I was at the fire department, jumping out of the back of an ambulance, like stepping down, my knee buckled. And it was like, I think I'm fine. Like, nope, we got to go do this right now.
Yep.
Part of that, they had to give me a drug screen and test the alcohol. This is in the middle of a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
But it's after hours, right? Not very convenient. That's the after-hour component that matters to businesses.
Right.
If you mentioned Crowley, right? If they're driving a truck and that specific unit gets into an accident, if somebody runs into them, there's very strict rules on what they have to confirm and test.
Right.
Let's say someone with like JSO gets involved in a wreck. Do they test themselves or can they call someone like you? Just curious.
So JSO has their own internal affairs, and they actually probably get tested through their own employer group. Funny thing with JSO, so we actually have a partnership with them. So anytime there is
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Shout out.
Sorry. Yeah, definitely shout out. Love those guys. So anytime they get into some type of altercation with a
Criminal or not criminal.
Criminal,
right?
not criminal.
Yep. Involved in
person.
something, yep.
They, if there's any type of like, if they bite them or scratch them or anything that breaks the skin and becomes a bloodborne pathogen risk, we actually go to the jail and test the criminal.
The person that did the biting.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we go and test them. So they get tested for HIV and hepatitis, so they know if the officer needs to do a preventive cocktail.
Gotcha.
So you look at any lab test now that does that for individuals. ARCpoint is a service that can do that for organizations like the ones we just mentioned.
Correct.
Through, again, to keep them compliance, cover certain liabilities. I like asking this. So who are ideal prospects for ARCpoint in Jacksonville?
So I think any of those companies we named, WWA, Miller Electric, anybody that has commercial, really anyone that drives a vehicle that has a company logo on the side should be getting drug tested because they're representing your business, right? But really any of those DOT or large corporations like that, any of the government contracting, those are all regulated by DOT laws.
So for the Jacksonville specific market, if you're an organization that has to be compliant with DOT, reach out to Randi Beesing. If you're across the country, ARCpoint is a
national company, so we can actually set up accounts with companies. Like if you have a company that's doing work throughout the country, if you're our client locally, we can actually set you up with drug screens because we do partner with a major drug screen carrier. So we can get you set up with drug screens pretty much anywhere throughout the United States. So you don't just have to be our customer here. Your employees here, if you're a nationwide,
Correct. You mentioned Miller Electric. Yeah, they're headquartered here, but they're doing work all over the country.
All over the place, right.
Crowley's, and some of these organizations are all over the place.
So we can actually set up drug testing for them throughout the country.
I knew about any lab test now a little bit. I've learned more today, and I was familiar with ARCpoint, but not enough. So,
So it's been a smaller brand. They don't have as many locations yet. I think with this new joint venture, we're looking to expand that. Yeah. It's funny because ARCpoint was operating in California and Any Lab Test Now wasn't. So now Any Lab Test Now will be in California. Kind of the same thing, Montana, like just some different white spaces for each brand. Now that we're combining brands, you'll start seeing them throughout.
You got one? Because
you ever been called upon to go to the airport for any kind of weird incidences? Maybe a pilot, a little boozed up, maybe on drugs?
So we have not yet, but we would love to be their contact person.
A little boozed up on drugs.
We would love to be the contact person. If we need someone to go on site, we do have the ability to do that. So those are some of the partnerships we're looking at. So, a lot of these are contracted. If they're doing, they'll contract out their they do RFPs. Any government agency will do an RFP and they'll sell their drug screen and background checks. However, they don't usually take into account their post-accident type things inside that contract. So if they have a post-accident, they usually go through their TPA or third-party administrator, and then they find someone to do the drug testing. We would like to be that point person. So that way you have a local contact.
Yes.
You have 2 or 3 phone numbers locally. You call until somebody answers, but they better answer on the first call.
Or you're fired.
Or you're fired. Chris. No, no, he's so awesome. He answers first time. But you know that, there's a credibility that goes with that, and you have somebody locally that you can be held accountable. So
you just said, one, I will make a case on why I think healthcare is changing rapidly. I also think business in general is moving to more localized, right? There are massive corporations that do this across the country, but if you're in this geographical area, you want someone that I know your face, I trust you, I know Chris is answering, whoever it is.
Right.
That will change more and more, I think.
Yeah,
it's hard to get in the door and present to these large organizations, but once they understand, it's like, you live in Jacksonville. Oh, that's a 904 area code I'm calling.
Right. Yeah. And it does matter. I think that that's so important when you, and I think it's the way you find your doctor. I think it's what, how direct primary care has become so successful, because rather than calling a large network primary care office and getting a phone tree and getting, somebody that didn't sleep well last night answer the phone, and maybe the doctor gets the message or maybe they don't. I think with things like direct primary care, the doctor, you call him directly or her directly. So I think, as you build on that, I think even in the employer space, I think we can do that as well, to have that local contact.
I got another one. This involves Chris.
Okay.
So does he have like a routine or something? Like, let's say you have to, does he just have his phone on really loud? How does he ensure that he is 100% picking up that phone and not being asleep?
So according to Chris, he has a little insomnia. He doesn't sleep very well anyway.
Okay.
Doesn't require a lot of sleep.
Perfect. Not
healthy. He does require a lot of sleep. But he does have his phone on 24/7. So we have a corporate phone, and then I have those calls forwarded to Chris. So when Chris wants to have dinner with his family or something, he'll say, hey, can you take calls for, while I take my family to the movies or something like that.
Gotcha.
So we do kind of pick up the slack for him, but for the most part, he's 99%
Is there a
on
scenario in which there's so much inbound leads and calls that you have to hire another Chris?
I can't wait till that day comes.
Okay.
We're ready.
Got it.
2026.
Yeah. And we have the team that we have, they'll be working for both brands, but the team we have now, we have just a great team. Speaking of Miss Jessica, she has done some after hours things. So the JSO thing is almost always after hours. They don't ever get in a fight 8 to 5. Like, it's always
it's after the sun's down.
Yeah, the crazies come out at night. So
what else
I
you got?
one more. It has to do with the Jags. Have you ever had to drug test, not a particular player, but maybe someone that comes and works in the stadium? Like, is that a situation where you could get called in as well?
There actually was. I got a call last year because I guess they changed vendors in the stadium, food vendors in the stadium. So I did get a call last year about setting up a contract with them. So in the event that somebody that works in one of the vendor concessions comes in and they think they're drinking or on drugs, they'll actually have them come in and get tested. So there is a policy in place.
Great question. If you let's look at Jaguar staff, right? Coaches, players, they are an employee of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They probably have their own system in place, and
they do.
Right? The NFL has their own drug screening process. Remember when we were in college and we worked the concession stands?
Oh, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Correct. So our fraternity would work the concession stand to, raise money and get free chicken sandwiches. But if one of us were to get hurt while there,
drug test us immediately.
But again, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. We would leave that place with bags of leftover food. That's why everybody did it. This is complete topic change. I love that we covered so much about Any Lab Test Now. Wonderful organization. Cannot recommend them enough. We'll get some more content afterwards. ARCpoint, great addition to the business model.
Great addition.
Okay. Not work, not children, not grandkids. What do you do for fun?
Ooh, these days there's not a whole lot of time left for that. It's all those things. It's a work-life balance, right? So, I think just spending time with my family right now is the biggest thing. So
you can't say that.
I wasn't supposed to say family.
You can't. You
my
definitely
dog.
can't.
You didn't say my dog. You didn't say I can talk about my dog. No. You know what? So when COVID happened and we were just working endless number of hours, we put in a swimming pool because didn't everybody buy an RV and put in a swimming pool?
Or a boat.
We did buy an RV, but we did put in a swimming pool. And so not on days like today because it's 30 degrees outside, but we do spend a lot of time in the pool, swimming and hanging out by the pool. So I'm a water girl. I like the beach. I like the pool. So really, that's probably where I'm going to spend
I think I try
time.
to put you on the spot. It's one of my favorite things about you. We both laugh and are self-deprecating and make fun of healthcare all the time. That's my love language. But you're so family-oriented. That's clearly the most important thing. Obviously,
it is.
The business is
Absolutely.
the business.
Yeah.
But for you...
Yeah, it's just all about the kids and the grandkids.
And that's with young kids.
Yeah.
Trey's got 4. It excites me.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
proud
it's
of
awesome.
you. You're
and we
a special
have,
human.
now we have aging parents, and so my mother-in-law moved in with us in October.
Healthy or not healthy?
It's healthy.
Okay.
Like I love her. She lives in Northern Illinois normally. Think it's cold here. Guess what's there?
She's
right?
probably in the pool today.
Right. Probably. She did get up and go for her mile walk this morning at 27 degrees. I'm like, what are you doing? But yeah, she's committed to that walk every morning. But we've been married 34 years and I've visited her twice a year for 3 or 4 days at a time. So I didn't spend a ton of time around her. Right. And so we were like, we're not really sure how this is going to go. She might not really like me. I might not really like her. We're not really sure, but we've always liked each other. And what I found is that she is exactly where my husband came from because they are the same person and the same personality and sense of humor. And I find him to be really funny. So I find her to be really funny. And I feel like I have like a new best friend now. Like she's awesome. So
that's cool.
It's worked out pretty well. So there's my
also
tears.
like a multi-generational house, right? It's your husband and your mom, and then kids and grandkids.
So on Sundays it gets really crazy because we have Piper.
Are you choking up?
I am a little bit. He loves it when I do that. So we have on Sunday family dinner. So Corey and Piper and Steven come over, and then we have grandma there. So it's
that's special.
It's 4 generations. Yeah, it's fun.
Very cool.
And then my mom is kind of on the verge. We thought my mom would be the one to move in with us first.
Yeah.
And then no, my mother-in-law beat her to the punch. My mom just said to me this weekend, she beat me to the punch.
She beat me.
She did.
When do you
Is there room for more?
But we will add on to the back and move my mom in if she needs to. So
we've always laughed about. We got a pretty big backyard. I'm like, we building a mother-in-law suite, but it's like for me, I want my.
That's
own
what we're
place
doing.
hide.
That's exactly what we're doing. So we actually are talking about doing an addition on the back, but a new primary suite. Because my husband's like, no, we're moving in the new bedroom.
The new stuff.
And we overlook the intercoastal. Like, your mom can have our room. I'm like, okay, fine.
We've got, I guess, 4 minutes till the end of this half. This is it's hard to answer on the spot, too. But if you look, again, 1, 3, 5 years out, what do you hope happens, obviously tied to the franchise, that I think also turns into changes in healthcare?
Sure.
Other than making $1 gazillion from the franchise,
I hope.
right?
I wish, right? That'd be so much easier to retire that way. So we are slated to open a 4th location in Clay County later this year.
That's right.
So we will be expanding. By the end of 2025, we would like to have all 4 locations dual branded. So one-stop shop for both. Certainly expanding our team. And I think that as 2026 is just going to be a wild ride, I think. It's going to be just depending on how healthcare goes and how this administration handles the issues that we currently have with healthcare. We'll
That's
see.
A 48-minute conversation.
It's a 48-month conversation. But yeah, so, I can hope for the best. I think that as people continue to get smarter, and AI obviously is going to continue to play a part in that, people are going to chat GPT to see, what kind of lab test I need at this point.
They started Chat GPT Health. I haven't played with it yet. But
I haven't either.
Because people used to Google, but now you get your blood results here, and it'll say, what is a CBC of XYZ? What does that mean? I mean, it's interesting time.
It is interesting. And I was at a, symposium not too long ago, conference type thing. And they were talking about with AI, like, you go on Google and say, where can I get this? And they give you like the top rated places and who paid the most money to advertise there, whatever. Where at the same time, Gemini is over there going, okay, I've already searched the whole internet and here's your answer. You know, any lab test now is the best place to go get your lab work. So we hope that Gemini finds that to be true.
Well, the more we do this stuff and say that any lab test now, any lab test now, any lab test now.
Right.
ARCpoint.
We'll keep building it, right? So, you know, so I think that's definitely it'll be interesting to see in 3 years where AI goes. Because we thought Google was like the end of the internet. We thought we'll never need anything else since we have Google.
Yeah.
And now Google is almost passe because now we have ChatGPT and Gemini and Journey and all these things.
Man, the world is changing. I hope healthcare keeps up and catches up, at least the dollars coming out of our pockets for the costs.
Right. Well, you know, and I hear people more now say, well, we've just gone to a catastrophic plan. And I'm like, catastrophic plans really don't exist in the way that they used to because
they're coming back.
But catastrophic plans were affordable. It's still not affordable. So what we're looking at now is you're still paying, you know, $2,000 a month for a decent PPO with a minimal deductible, $3,000-$4,000 deductible. That's still not affordable for people. And then that's catastrophic because you're really only going to use it if you end up in the ER because going to your primary care or your specialist are still $100, $200 copays.
It adds up quick.
Yeah. ER visits. People go to the ER because they don't have a doctor or, you know, think that's the cheapest route. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Different dialogue to go into. We only got a minute left here. That was Randy. To me, any lab test now, multiple units in Jacksonville. There's Mandarin, Murray Hill. This is the Beaches. It's off Atlantic Boulevard. We're on site. ARCpoint. We're now co-branding, working together. One's direct to consumer. One is business to business. We covered a lot there. I'm proud of you. I'm just glad I know you. We met through the Health Council. I know. That was great. Good job. Any lab test now, I cannot say it enough. We'll obviously chop some clips up, get some other stuff, but wonderful, wonderful facility. The staff we met.
They're amazing.
Yep. Y'all are doing a good job. Randi Beesing, any lab test now. That's what the hell just happened.